Happy Women's Day to all the women who have joined us today. And just before I start, let me introduce our guest today. We have Isha Sinha from Indiassetz who's joining us. And before that, let me just talk about a little bit about Vaya Vikas and Indiassetz. Today, we could talk about the dynamic Indian real estate sector, exploring key trends, challenges, and opportunities. Whether you're an investor, developer, or home buyer, understanding the nuances of the market is crucial for making informed decisions. Our expert speaker will share valuable insights on navigating through the complexities of the Indian real estate landscape, from market trends and regulatory updates to investment strategies and risk mitigation. This webinar will equip you with the knowledge and tools needed to thrive in the ever evolving real estate market. Before we move on to our main topic, I'd like to give you a brief on Vaya Vikas. Vaya Vikas is a registered trust with a dream to build and strengthen the ecosystem for seniors and empower the seniors to lead a productive and meaningful life. We are a community of senior citizens, members enabled through an online platform with a focus on a wide range of services, starting with legal, health, financial, and wellness. If you haven't registered, I would request you all to become members of Vaya Vikas. And we have an exciting event happening on April 28th, which is our TCS Silvers Run, which is 4.2 kilometers. Please join us. We can have a great fun on that day. This is happening on April 28th at the Maniksha Parade Grounds, where you will have a drop and pickup facility also. So please do give us a call and we'll register all of you over the age of 58 to participate in this fun run. Moving on, Isha will start about the topic and she'll give you a few insights. Once we'll open up for question and answers. We would also request you to keep yourself on mute before we start the session. And if you have any questions in between the session, please type it in. We would ask you after Isha finished talking. Without further delay, I would like to introduce our speaker for the session. We have today Ms. Isha Sinha, Vice President of Indiassetz, responsible for critical functions such as fundraising and investor relations, large ticket structured transactions, and digital products. Excellence in high-pressure startup environments, leveraging strategic planning, cross-functional team management, and data-driven decision-making to drive transformative outcomes. Thank you, Isha, for joining us, and over to you.
Thank you, Pavitra, for the very, very warm welcome. I want to wish all the women on the panel and everyone out here a very happy Women's Day. And please do let me know if my voice is audible and if you have any issues in listening to me. So before I begin the session, I want to talk a little bit about who Indiassetz is and what we do. So I represent Indiassetz, which is the country's first real estate wealth tech company. And as the country's first real estate wealth company, we take care of an individual's entire portfolio. So right from managing the smallest things in your house to ensuring that you have a seamless buy, sell, rent transaction, or even a large ticket transaction in order to diversify your portfolio. Indiassetz takes care of the entire gamut of real estate offerings end to end, completely digitally. We have a solutions portfolio of about 200 plus offerings through which we ensure that we handhold you right from your first interaction with real estate till the time, hopefully, your last interaction with real estate. So we have sectoral experts that are able to manage and maximize your entire real estate wealth. And we operate across 5 cities, which is Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, Mumbai, and Delhi. Today, I've been very graciously invited by the Vaya Vikas team to address all of you on a very special topic, which is navigating the real estate market, which might seem quite daunting, but I hope that I'm able to demystify the world of real estate. Now, what is real estate and why are we discussing about this? As individuals, we've worked hard all our entire lives, putting in long hours at our jobs, raising families, and saving diligently for the future. Many of us are now at a stage where we are thinking how to best utilize our hard earned savings and investments to ensure that we have a comfortable retirement. Now, one of the biggest decisions that you may be grappling with is whether real estate should play a role in your investment portfolio during these golden years. The Indian real estate market can seem a bit daunting, but with some guidance, we can navigate it successfully. And I hope I'm able to shed some light on that. If we look at the real estate sector, it is one of the most vital sectors of the Indian economy. It contributed roughly about 6 to 7% of the country's GDP in the year 2022. The market size of the Indian real estate sector in FY21 was estimated to be about $200 billion, and it will touch about $1 trillion in 2025 and about 13% of the country's GDP. This sector employs the highest number of indirect workers.
Your video is started.
तो ये बंद करो, you can stop.
Sorry, could I continue?
Yes, please. Sorry, continue.
Sure.
Just before that, everybody, please keep your speakers on mute. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. So as I was saying, the Indian real estate sector employs the highest number of indirect workers after agriculture. This has happened because of rising incomes, the growing urbanization, affordable loan rates. So the market has seen very steady growth over the past decade. In terms of how the real estate market looks like, the residential segment makes up about 80% of the entire real estate market. It is a very strong and a very steadily growing sector. Major growth drivers for this sector would include rising population, increasing nuclear families, and the demand for quality space, especially post-COVID. If you look at the commercial segment, which is driven by offices, malls, hotels, etc., that sector has also seen substantial growth fueled by growth in sectors such as IT, banking, finance, and startups. Now, as an asset class, the Indian real estate sector has been able to take a deep breath after 2 grueling years of lockdowns that was brought on by the pandemic. It also caused a subsequent economic unrest, and the country has seen a thorough recovery, including the real estate sector, has seen a very, very rampant recovery this year across tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 cities. The real estate sector has also seen multiple other advantageous growth, which I'd like to take you through. So with the implementation of RERA, which is the Real Estate Regulation Act, it has substantially streamlined the accessibility and the availability of timelines, documentation, and organization across the life cycle of projects. Builders and developers have become more stringent of laws and regulations. That has in turn attracted a lot of investment into the real estate sector, developing more trust and value in the real estate business. The Indian real estate boom, increasing transparency, and stronger real estate regulations are driving demand for real estate as an asset class. Real estate also gives the opportunity to people to gain better yields out of their investment. They can utilize this asset class in upscaling properties, reselling them in the market, or by being a sheer investor and reap profits out of their investment. Given the strength of this asset class, it has a compounded annual growth rate of about 10% for residential and about 14% in the commercial asset class forecasted between the years 2022 and 2027. And this trend is expected to continue for some time. This was a little bit about what the Indian real estate sector looks like in these years and in the coming years. Now, why would you want to invest in the Indian real estate sector when there are multiple avenues of opportunity available to you? So while the real estate market can be cyclical and a bit volatile in the short term, it has proven to be a very strong and solid long-term investment for decades. There are some reasons why Indian population, Indian seniors, and people in their golden years should consider having real estate as a part of their portfolio, especially their retirement portfolio. Let's look at a factor of hedge against inflation. So real estate tends to appreciate in value over time, and it acts as a hedge against inflation to stop the erosion of your cash savings. It also acts as a regular income stream. So if you buy rental properties, you can get a steady source of monthly or annual income through your during your retirement years through rentals. It also has a lot of appreciation potential. Land and property prices, especially in major cities and towns, have risen manifold over the last few decades. So, this capital appreciation is also a very valuable nest egg. In fact, we have seen capital appreciation grow multifold in tier 2 and tier 3 cities as well. There are incentives on tax available on home loans, rental incomes, which can reduce your overall tax outgo. Of course, there is a lot of utility in your golden years. An owned residential or an owned commercial property, let's say residential property, can serve as a place to live during the retirement, and of course can be passed on to your heirs as well. This market was recently hit by COVID related disruptions initially, but the sector has recovered very strongly since 2021. Housing sales rebounded in 2022, reaching nearly pre-pandemic levels and now have crossed pandemic levels as well. New launches that were concentrated in the mid-segment affordability and housing category, which is roughly 40 to 80 lakhs, are now more concentrated towards the luxury segment because people have started valuing quality space and their health over every other thing. The major cities wherein you see a transformation and a growth spurt are Bangalore, Mumbai, Delhi, NCR, Pune, and they're driving a bulk of the demand. Commercial segment has also seen recovery with a higher occupancy levels, rentals post-COVID. Warehousing and logistics as a sector has seen real estate booming because of the growth in e-commerce sectors. Growth in e-commerce was largely brought on to by the pandemic, where people largely were ordering from the comfort of their homes. So looking ahead, a lot of consultants also forecast that the long-term outlook for residential demand is quite robust. This is also due to India's low per capita housing supply. Commercial office space is also expected to grow anywhere between 10 to 14% CAGR, compounded annual growth rate, over the next 4 to 5 years. So while we can be cautious of the near-term cyclicalities of this sector, the long-term fundamentals of the Indian real estate market remain attractive for investors, including those in their golden years. There are some factors which you should look at while investing in real estate or to unlock equity from your existing real estate. You must look at an investment horizon. You should match your property holding period to your financial and long-term goals. You must look at asset allocation. Opt for cities or opt for places which have strong jobs, income growth, growth in financial inclusion across multiple sectors. If you're interested in buying a primary property, which is from a developer or a builder, you must consider their credibility. You must research builders' execution, track record, etc. If you're looking for a loan to purchase a property, weigh the benefits of taking home loans at senior ages or at older ages. Property maintenance and upkeep becomes a task. So consider factors of maintenance costs for owned properties. A lot of times there are exit loads when you exit a property. Understand the taxes and the fees involved while selling. There are multiple new age options also that have come up in the real estate market, which are more regulated, which are more, which are safer investment options. You can look at alternate investment funds, which are products for higher liquidity and higher returns as well. So that's largely how the real estate sector looks like. Just to pitch in, India Assets can assist you across all of these sectors, whether it is legal requirements, documentation requirements, getting advisory for your portfolio, or handholding you throughout your entire real estate journey. Our sectoral experts, of course, can take you through all of these aspects in your real estate journey. Let's look at some of the commonly asked or some of the common misconceptions and queries that people might have about real estate. So is real estate a secure investment when you're considering retiring? Real estate is a very secure long-term investment for retiring, especially if approached very prudently. As I mentioned, properties tend to appreciate over long periods, acting as an inflation hedge. However, it is always advisable to diversify across asset classes. You must consider factors such as investment horizon, liquidity needs, and the associated costs and risks. In fact, in a remarkable shift, India's real estate landscape is gearing up for a very significant surge in demand, particularly with a focus on the senior sector, senior housing. Currently, if you look at the delivery space, there are about 50 to 60 projects in progress from the top 12 players in the country. And an astonishing 60% of these ventures are strategically positioned in tier 2, tier 3 cities, as disclosed by the Association of Senior Living in India. They have published a white paper in association with PwC. This surge in demand for real estate sector is not a trend. It is a forecasted boom that is driven by the country's rapidly expanding elderly population. Mind you, the country's if you look at the current reproductive population of the country, is going to be the senior population of the country very soon. And that's why projections indicate that a staggering demand for approximately 2 to 5 lakh units of senior living accommodations are going to come in the near future, which is a promising housing revolution for seniors nationwide. And that makes real estate a very, very promising sector as a retirement investment as well. Now, what are the best options that you can look at which are senior friendly housing? There are multiple senior living communities in tier 1, tier 2 sectors, gated villas, apartments with multiple accessibility features, and proximity to healthcare facilities, elevators, anti-skid tiles. There are multiple senior living homes that are coming up with many, many features that are crucial to ensure that for seniors, they are provided a very, very comfortable living experience. There are projects that cater specifically to the elder population as well. The residential real estate sector has been tapping into this huge scope as a very important segment in India to provide a comfortable living. This need is to look at a senior living as an infrastructure and a lifestyle project rather than a real estate project. Senior living is a lifestyle that seniors plan in advance rather than a shelter provided on compassionate grounds. So, senior living is being looked upon as real estate as a service with healthcare, social needs, food, shelter, activities, and total care provided. Now, with these senior friendly communities, senior friendly residential projects that are coming up, how does the safety or how do we evaluate whether they are good communities? So from a safety standpoint, you must look at adequate security personnel, CCTVs, surveillance, controlled entry and exits, fire safety, medical emergency protocols, elder-friendly common units, help desks, dedicated staffs, and they are big pluses, right? So when you're looking for a project that you would want to either stay in a senior friendly community, you must look at all the aspects of the community, the project, and the features that are available. If you're looking at a residential or a commercial aspect from an investment point of view, look at the long-term horizons, look at your financial goals, and look at it from a standpoint where you would want to pass it on to your successors. Now, for senior living, there are multiple benefits that the Indian government and the country as a whole has been providing. There are multiple financial schemes and assistance programs that are available for senior citizens. There are some banks in the country that that provide preferential home loan interest rates for seniors. There is a reverse mortgage scheme that has been launched in the country that allows the elderly people to access home equity and get regular payouts. The government also provides tax rebates, higher deduction limits on certain investments for senior citizens. There are multiple other government initiatives aligning with the trend of senior living, such as increased deposit limits for the Senior Citizens Savings Scheme, which is the SCSS. At Indiassetz, we have experts who can guide you much more on this. In case you'd like to reach out to us to understand these schemes, please do connect with the Vyaha Vikas team and they will put you on to us. There are also introduction of Elder Line, which is the country's first pan-India helpline for senior citizens. the National Pension Scheme, or the Pradhan Mantri Vaya Vandana Yojana, which is the PMVVY. These schemes provide regular income to senior citizens and also help them meet their daily expenses. NPS, which is the National Pension Scheme, is one of the best ways to save for retirement. It collects contributions from workers aged between 18 to 70 years. The contributions also get tax deductions, and these efforts aim to enhance financial affordability and support for the aging populations. Even as per RBI guidelines, banks are liable to provide pickup of cash, check, or drop of demand drafts to senior citizens and specially able people. Apex Bank has also laid down rules to provide basic facilities such as KYC, withdrawals, etc. to senior citizens aged 70 and more. You can just dial a customer care number, and the bank and your wealth management organization can assist you with doorstep facilities. There are a lot of tax implications for senior citizens, and there are multiple debates also on this. So I'd like to take some time to talk about the tax sector while investing or while selling a real estate property. Now, let's say senior citizens who want to sell real estate or any other asset class to generate post-retirement income, they will attract applicable and tax gains on the sale proceeds. So if you are making a retirement plan with considerable investments in real estate or any other instrument, you must consider the tax implication while calculating your returns. In case you are unfamiliar with the tax rules, I will try and shed a little light on how the tax retirement works. And you must also improve your, you must also read on a bit more and to make your knowledge watertight for your retirement plan. Absence of such knowledge would impact returns and may lead to non-fulfillment of your goals. Now, essentially, there are two categories of tax that apply to property. One is a long-term capital gains tax, and the other is a short-term capital gains tax. Short-term capital gains tax is incurred if your property is sold on or before 24 months. In the case of other asset classes, it needs to be sold before 12 months, and for other capital assets, short-term capital gains will apply sold before 36 months. Long-term capital gains will apply if your property is sold after 24 months at a 20% tax after indexation. There are circumstances in which individuals can save off on their capital gains tax, or even not required to be paying property gains, capital gains tax. Now let's look at long-term capital gains tax, which is 20% after your indexation benefit. This is exempt under Section 54 of the Income Tax Act if the proceeds from the sale are invested or reinvested in another house. So let's say if a senior citizen redeems long-term mutual funds, then a 10% long-term capital gains tax will apply after a 1 lakh exemption. However, the individual will receive their benefit if the income is less than the minimum exemption threshold. Long-term capital gains tax on sale of assets such as equity, gold, etc. is exempt if net proceeds from the sale are invested in a residential property under Section 54F. You can also get tax relief by investing the sale proceeds from selling a house by showing capital expenditure on a residential property. So let's say by investing capital gains from selling a residential property under section or in bonds, which is under Section 54 EC, you can also avoid paying capital gains tax. Under Section 54F, capital gains tax can be avoided on the sale proceeds of any other asset class but invested in residential property. Further, any capital expenditures spent on the residential property may also be deducted as improvement costs, and that are also indexable. Now, there is a less common knowledge that long-term capital gains tax on selling other assets such as gold, equity, or the other and the like is exempt if the net proceeds are invested in residential property under Section 54F or under Section 54E. However, these capital gains do not apply from the sale of furniture or clothing intended for personal use or agricultural land located in rural areas. For senior citizens, there is a base exemption limit in tax. Now, the base exemption limit is increased for seniors and super seniors at rupees 3 lakh and 5 lakh respectively. Consequently, individuals aged 60 or older with an annual income of rupees 3 lakh or those aged 80 or older with a yearly income of 5 lakhs will not be subject to capital gains tax. Individuals under the age of 60 with an annual income of 2.5 lakhs, or if you are a part of the Hindu undivided family, which is an HUF, they are also exempt from this provision. However, if you do not fall into any of these categories, you must pay tax regardless of age. It is always good to get more professional help when there is an asset class or a property in question. These are just certain general guidelines and principles that are prevalent in the real estate market, and I am briefing you on those. However, for specific queries, we do have experts who you can get in touch with. So now let us look at in terms of, let's say if we talk about property and you have invested in real estate. Now you are at a certain age where you want to downsize your investment. Downsizing, if you want to divest your real estate assets and you maybe want to move to a smaller, a lower maintenance property, that's a practical choice for retirees if you are looking to free up equity that is tied to your existing real estate. You can also reduce a couple of costs and future hassles with property management. The extra funds can be augmented to your liquid retirement savings. Some good options for downsizing would be condos. You could look at studios or 1 BHK apartments, which are closer to your family. They make for convenient options. Now, when these properties are put, when you're looking for downsizing or when you're looking to exit from real estate, as I mentioned, safety, maintenance are definitely features that you must look at, whether you're investing in real estate for your own captive consumption, for your own living, or if you want to pass it down to your heirs. So always ensure that if you have a self-owned property, you are periodically structuring audits, you ensure timely repairs, your plumbing, electrical, fumigation, etc. are vital. If you are in housing societies, please ensure that maintenance charges are reasonably priced, the services are up to the mark. Of course, having a trusted professional real estate wealth manager can always provide you more peace of mind, and that's where Indiassetz also comes in. There are several support systems that we can offer for real estate during their real estate transactions. We're a dedicated property management firm offering end-to-end solutions which are tailor-made to your requirement, right from searching to incentives to shortlisting to financial assistance, due diligence, paperwork, interior design, etc. And we strongly recommend that you leverage specialized services in order to, when you're investing or when you're looking to purchase or navigate the real estate sector. Now, since today is Women's Day, I would also want to throw some light on the role of women in real estate and how the country or how the real estate market, though being quite daunting, is now turning to be very conducive for the Indian real estate sector. So if you look at the budget of 2024, the finance minister stated that over 70% of houses in rural areas that were constructed under the PMAY have women as either sole owners or joint owners, which is a very big factor that contributes to the enhancement of a woman's dignity. Let's say under the PMAY, it mandates that properties that are registered under the scheme must be registered under the name of at least one woman in the household. Apart from this scheme, there are multiple additional benefits that are tailored to women home buyers that they can explore and make their property investment or property owning journey very, very seamless. One of the most significant expenses that are associated with owning a home is stamp duty, which must be paid for property transfers, whether it is a buyer or sale of a property. A property tax is imposed by the state government on property acquisitions or transfer, which is typically borne by the buyer of the transaction. But in several states, government offers reduced stamp duty rates if the home buyer is a woman, as a sole buyer or a joint owner of the property. For instance, in Delhi, the stamp duty rate for a female home buyer is 4%. For a male home buyer, it is 6 to 7% of the property value. In case of joint ownership of a male and female, the rate is at about 5%. In certain states, stamp duty is nearly zero. For example, in Jharkhand, a male home buyer would pay 7%, whereas a female home buyer would pay a symbolic 1 rupee as stamp duty. So these are certain, these are certain benefits that women home buyers would these are certain things that are available for women home buyers that they can use and make their home owning journey simpler. There are multiple rebates also that are offered on property registration charges. So in addition to stamp duty, the government authorities also levy something which we call as a property registration fees for officially recording the property in a buyer's name. Again, in numerous states, women home buyers qualify for a discount on these fees that provide additional savings. The standard registration fee is usually 1% of the property cost, but in some states, it can also go as high as 4%. Women home buyers benefit from concession in multiple cities in the country. Now, let's look at property tax. Now, payment of stamp duty and registration fees is mandatory during the property purchase or sale. Property ownership also includes property tax, which is a very important aspect of owning a home. Property tax is an annual fee that is paid by a property owner to the local government or the municipal corporation for maintenance of that particular locality where your property is associated. Some municipal corporations also provide concession on property taxes. Now, the rates of property taxes may vary among municipal corporations within a state and also among cities. There are cities that also offer concessions for property registered under a woman's name. Another advantage available to women home buyers comes in the form of a higher LTV ratio, which is a loan to value ratio. This offers them lower interest rate and lower processing fees also. Many banks and financial institutions extend higher loan eligibility to women, which allows them to potentially borrow more for property acquisition as compared to men. For instance, some banks provide women home buyers with a loan amount up to 90% of the property value, whereas the maximum LTV ratio for male borrowers in the same case could be limited to 70 to 80%. Furthermore, some banks offer reduced interest rates, reduced processing fees, and home loans specifically to women. Some lenders provide interest rate discounts on home loans for women home buyers. The extent of this concession could be anywhere from 10 to 30 basis points, depending upon the lender and the loan amount. So concessions on loans, concessions on property taxes, concession on stamp duty, and concession on property registration fees, which constitute to a very large value, are given multiple rebates and discounts to women. So I would also want to take this platform to urge all the women out there to start taking ownership of their real estate. Start investing in a property, because a home not only is an aspect where you can invest and earn income, or it provides a stable, it provides a stable asset class value to you, but also there are multiple emotional and sentimental aspects that are associated to a home. So for women, I always believe that women make homes and it's always a good time to start building them as well. In this journey of women owning homes, there are some stigmas and there are some gender bias or discrimination when it comes to real estate. And I want to demystify a few of them. Women in India have legal rights to own, inherit, dispose property, including land or any other form of real estate. The Indian government, as I mentioned, has enacted various laws to protect women's property rights, such as the Hindu Succession Act of 1956, the Indian Succession Act of 1925, and multiple others. These laws provide women with equal rights to inherit property from their parents, spouses, relatives, and also claim a share in the joint family property. Women can also acquire property through gifts and purchases, and they also have the right to sell and transfer their property as they wish. However, despite these legal protections and all of the benefits associated with women in real estate, women still tend to face social and cultural barriers while exercising their property rights, such as discrimination, harassment, intimidation, sometimes by family members and society at large. And unfortunately, these unconscious biases, they still exist, whether it is differential pricing, or whether it is pushy sales tactics, whether there are patriarchal customs, or when it even comes to documentation and they are just considered a signing authority. It becomes very important to educate oneself on your legal rights, involve your mature family members, deal with reputed and professional real estate wealth managers is always advisable. If this discrimination is blatant, then reports can also be filed with authorities. And I want to take this podium to also mention about STREE, which is our exclusive real estate advisory for women. Here we understand that real estate wealth management can be a daunting task, especially for women, and we are dedicated to providing personalized and expert guidance to help women navigate the real estate market with confidence. Overall, I want to thank the entire team of Vyaha Vikas for helping me conduct this session. And this brings me to my closing note. I hope that I have been able to shed some light on the Indian real estate sector and encourage all of you to make property related decisions, because this is not just a short term investment where you can reap benefits. It is a very, very stable long term investment. And to put it generically, a home has always been where the heart is. So that's it from my side. And I'd like to hand over the session to Pavitra again.
Thank you, Isha. If anybody has questions, please raise your hand and I'll come to you, or you can type in the questions also. While that is happening, one of the questions I had is, I understand that seniors are not eligible if they're above the age of 60 to get a loan. So how can they purchase something if they're not able to get a loan?
So I don't believe that they are ineligible to get a loan. We have loan experts, and I think they would be able to shed better light on if there's a specific loan related inquiry. I might not be the best person, because again, it depends on bank to bank, and it depends upon multiple other factors rather than just the age. It also looks at income. They also look at if you have any existing assets or if you have any outstanding liabilities. So age is not the only factor which is taken into consideration while providing a loan. Yes, there are certain financial institutions that might have certain certain hesitations in providing loans to individuals above a certain age. There are also financial institutions that have special schemes for loans for senior citizens. In fact, you can also avail joint loans with your family members in case you are unable to get a sole loan under your name. So, but if there is anything specific related to a specific property or a specific city or a financial institution, I would urge you to please connect with Pavitra or the Vyaha Vikas team, and our experts will get in touch with you on this.
Can you throw some light on gift tax and wealth tax?
Sure. So, of course, whenever you transfer a property, which is in terms of, let's say, a gift deed that is done to your heirs or a gift deed done to any of your family members, then it also, because there is a registration, it does attract a certain level of tax. I am not an absolute expert in taxation matters, and because of that reason, I will not be able to answer this completely adequately, but I can always get experts to respond to this query. In terms of all of these taxation matters, it is largely advisable to consult with your chartered accountant whenever there is a certain kind of query. However, I will get a response in detail to you on this. Pavitra, if you could please pass on Mr. Bhagwat's credentials to us or his query, we will respond to it at the earliest.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am.
There is a question in the chat box. I will just read that.
Yes, you can just...
So, Mr. Shashi has sent me a direct question which says, in the light of work from home, is the commercial area, a commercial real estate worth investing in? Mr. Shashi, I'd like to throw some light on this. If you look at the years of between 2019 and 2021, definitely commercial real estate supply had dipped to very, very low levels. But from the year 2022 onwards, in fact, in 2023 and coming up to 24, commercial real estate sector has seen a very, very large rebound. So let me talk about two aspects of commercial real estate here. One is the office space utilization. Office space utilization owing to Indian companies and certain multinational companies now resuming to office. So the return to office or the remote work culture has gone down, but the return to office culture has gone up. And this does not have a lot to do with the real estate market. In fact, this has a lot to do with how businesses are run. When you see people coming together, working, it is a much more productive environment than a work from home opportunity where people are largely in silos working alone. And this has been proved through multiple productivity surveys and reports that have come out in the previous years. So all the companies, and if you look at the last sector to return to office was the IT sector. Banks, financial institutions, and other companies had returned to working. In fact, even the real estate sector had largely come back to work from office. IT was one of the last sectors to adapt to returning from office. But TCS, Infosys, they have all imposed, lesser hybrid and more work from office models, because everyone largely in the sector realized that there is more productivity when people come and work together. Because of this shift, the office space consumption has gone up to a very, very large extent. This is reflected in the rental yields that are available in the market today. So earlier, if your rental yields were at 6 to 7%, in cities and in certain areas, they are now going up to as high as 9 to 10% as well. That is the kind of office space consumption that has gone up. If you look at the other sector of commercial real estate, which is warehousing, we largely constitute this to be the industrial real estate sector. Warehousing had picked up during the COVID and the pandemic era as well, because of the rise of e-commerce sectors. And with the warehousing sector has also received a lot of impetus and thrust because of the rise in quick commerce businesses that are coming up that cater to a large mass scale companies. Because of this, warehousing requirements have gone up multifold. In fact, warehousing demand currently beats the warehousing supply in the country. So all in all, commercial real estate sector has become a very, very lucrative investment opportunity. In fact, sometimes people feel that the commercial real estate sector would require a much more money, or it would require much more corpus to be invested in. But with the advent of investment opportunities such as fractional ownerships or investing in alternate investment funds, you can actually start with an investment as low as 10% and look at yields of 12 to 13% year on year. You can look at exits which are as high as 30% in at an rate of return when you sell those properties. Commercial real estate also attracts a higher capital appreciation as compared to residential real estate because of the rentals that are coming in. So I would say, in case you're looking to, if you have any apprehensions when it comes to commercial real estate, please do not have them. This sector, along with the luxury real estate residential sector, has seen the largest comeback post-COVID.
Just wanted to know from Isha, the REITs are not become popular in India. The returns are low. Any reason?
So I do not operate in the REIT sector because it is largely governed by financial institutions, which is why I would not be able to shed more light on REITs. But I believe the issue is not so much of lower returns, as I think there is a fundamental issue of accessibility of REITs to retail investors. I think the reason that has not picked up, coupled with the high amount of supply that is available in REITs, has probably led to REITs not being able to perform as well as they should. However, I'm not an expert in REITs because they fall largely into a financial domain. But we can definitely share some insights on REITs versus other investment sectors where you can look at, through which you can make an informed decision.
So Isha, you were talking about partial investment into commercial spaces, right? How does that actually work? So do people have to come with a large background? Do they, like you said, 10% is also okay. So can you just give more input? Yeah, can you give more input?
So I'll briefly touch on this. This opportunity in real estate has been relatively new. It's called fractional ownership, or this is basically an opportunity where you can start investing in real estate with as low as 10 lakhs or 25 lakhs. How does that work? Is every property is converted into shares. So you can think of a property as a company, and there are multiple investors in that company that hold shares of that particular asset. Every real estate property. It could be rent yielding or it could be a timeshare. Normally, there are commercial real estate properties which have tenants in it paying rent. So that property is converted to what we call a special purpose vehicle, an SPV. That SPV acts as a company, which could be a private limited company or a limited liability partnership. And all investors could subscribe to shares of that company. Returns that are received from the rentals of these rentals of the asset is paid out to investors as dividends. So fractional ownership not only assists you with investing in real estate at a lower corpus, but it also helps you get regular payouts. So you don't have to stay invested for a longer period of time. You can also start earning dividends within a shorter period of time and increase your liquidity cycle. Not just fractional ownership, there are certain joint development structures. There are others. There are other residential sectors, villa projects that also have now started giving investors an early access. That means you can come into a project as an early investor, and once the project starts getting sold, you can reap up to 2x of benefits within a short span of 3 years. So all of these, opportunities have started to make real estate a more liquid and a more, a more liquid form of investment, as always, as opposed to the common notion that if you invest in real estate, it becomes illiquid and your money is stuck for a very long time.
So this works as a short-term investment as well as a long-term investment, depending on the person who's investing into it and their needs.
Absolutely. So it not only assists you with rental yields and dividends, but it also assists you in long term as a capital appreciation of that asset.
And how would we know which are the real good investment options out there? Would almost all the real estate firms be involved in it, or is there any guidance on who can and who can't be part of it?
So it depends on the real estate opportunity. See, largely real estate as an investment class is available to everyone to invest in. In fact, it is one of the most lucrative asset classes when it comes to NRIs as well. They are very, they are very enthusiastic about investing in the Indian real estate because of the India growth story. But as we always advise, so if you look at India Assets as an organization, our major or our main role is to assist individuals throughout their real estate investment journey. So our primary focus becomes to ensure that a person is able to manage and maximize their real estate wealth. And in real estate, what has largely not been available is advice. The real estate market is largely filled with developers or consultants or builders or brokers who are only trying to sell and buy properties, which is where we came in, and we wanted to establish ourselves as the primary advisors to everyone who is looking to invest or grow their real estate wealth, and then execute everything on their behalf for their real estate. So getting advice on real estate primarily becomes very, very important. And India Assets in the country is one of the only firms that advises an individual on their real estate. Most of the other players in the country are largely advising developers and builders. So for us, we always encourage people to contact us if they have any real estate requirements, if they have anything that they need for real estate, and we will ensure that across real estate asset classes, whether it is residential, commercial, land, joint developments, joint ventures, fractional ownerships, alternate investment opportunities, or even things like managing a property, maintaining day-to-day maintenance, property taxes, financing solutions. We offer everything to them so that their real estate journey is completely seamless. So I, as an advisor, as I mentioned earlier, right, we also have sectoral experts. It's not like, we try and get information. We have experts who deep dive into every aspect of your real estate. So it's always advisable when such a huge asset investment or a corpus investment is required, please consult professionals, and they would know the market and they would know what is the best for you. Because a home is obviously very important to everyone, but we don't want people to deter away from their primary, living their lives and having fun, and put all of their mind in real estate, which is what we are here to do for them.
Thank you.
Your company is also advising on this investment on a fractional basis?
Yes, sure, sir. If you have any particular requirements, please, you can of course reach out to Pavitra and she can put you in touch with us. We can discuss multiple.
That is in effect, you are acting like a broker, like a financial broker.
That's correct, sir. So we don't, in terms of property related transactions, whether it is buying, selling, or renting a property, we not only just assume the role of a broker. Our primary job is not to just buy, sell real estate, but to assist you throughout that entire transaction. So all your site visits, your entire documentation, every legal requirement, every financial requirement, every tax related requirement, we will have experts that will assist you throughout your journey.
Can you give us an idea about what is the rate of return?
So it depends on the asset class that you are investing in. Let's say you look at a commercial fractional ownership or a commercial alternate investment to look at. They could give you returns so let's look at annual returns. The ROIs could be in the range of 9% and upwards. And if you look at capital appreciation and exit, it should give you a growth rate of 18% and above.
Fine. So anything like that, we can contact your organization.
Of course, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. I think there are no more questions. If anybody has any questions that you're not able to ask here, or if you have questions later on, or if you want to contact India Assets, please get in touch with Vaya Vikas, and we'll be happy to connect you to Isha and her team, who will assist you in any way they can to help you out with your problems. Thank you, Isha, for being with us today. It was lovely hearing from you about real estate as such, because very few people know how they can use it as an investment rather than just a home to buy and live in. So that was very interesting to know about. So thank you once again for being part of this webinar and educating all our senior citizens. I would also like to thank all our members who are here today with us and listen to what we had to share with you. And I hope you got to learn a lot like I did about the real estate area. And like I said, if you have any questions, please reach out to us and we'll be happy to help and put you in touch with India Assets. Thank you everyone for your time today. Please do become members of Vaya Vikas if you're already not a member. And if you want to have a fun activity, we have TCS 10K coming up. Please join and come and be part of the whole thing. Thank you everyone. Have a good evening.
Thank
Bye.
you so much. Thank you very much.